So, Shan, since we are in the process of launching new features as part of the Chosenly 2.0 launch, I'm sure there must be some features that our competitors have. So, I would like to understand what are those features that you really, really respect, but we still haven't built them out at Chosenly.
Okay, so our competitors are good. Okay, so they do have a few features that are. So I think if I have to, so I think Profound has a pretty interesting feature where they show search volumes. The way they've done it is they do it through, I think, some customer research panels where they've bought this data to show this. The reason why it's really cool, right? It's a very interesting way to do it. It's a good way to estimate things. And the reason why we haven't built this is because again, yeah, like those panels will not have good data for the kind of prompts B2B companies would need. It would not have good data for bottom of funnel prompts. So just because, it's great for their audience, for enterprise B2C companies, I think it's a very smart way to build that out. Compared to that, a few other competitors have tried to do something. Everyone is using Google search as proxy, which is the best you can do, right? But they're overselling that versus Profound actually went ahead and took the additional step and got that. So I really like that. Um, the second feature that we haven't built but would have been nice is I think some of our competitors are doing this thing where they're generating blogs, right? And one of the things that you do for LLM optimization is you generate blogs, right? You write blogs. The problem with that one is why we aren't building that is because to do it well, if you really had to generate a good blog, um, yeah, the amount of research and setup and everything needed, right, is like to do it well is a lot. Versus, I think what everyone else has done is they just said, hey, you know what? It's basically an OpenAI or a Claude or whatever wrapper with a few things on top of it, and then they said, hey, you know what? Let's add it as a feature, which is sure you could always do that, but then if we build a feature, it has to be good enough, and I don't think we'll be able to do a good enough job at that. I mean, if you have to ask someone what a feature like that but good would look like, maybe ask Lashay from Bofu.ai. I think the way her process of doing that is very different, but also the amount of money she'll have to charge to build a good version of that is very different than a Claude or ChatGPT prompt per se, right? Or a couple of prompts. That's the second one. A third feature, if I really had to pick one, would be so a lot of tools do this, do the tracking more regularly. They'll track maybe daily also, right? Now, usually it's very dumb to do that because if you do it, if you actually do it, then the plans change every day. It's not net new. So they're behaving like an analytics company purely with that doesn't need to enable any actions. And also they haven't figured out stability. Lot of problems, right? But the reason why I still think it could be good is not in general as a feature, but without going to do specifics, we are building campaign features into Chosenly. Now, instead of tracking everything all the time, we might want start tracking. We might take some inspiration from that and track that specific campaign to find how, when you take an action, what's the impact of that. So we are taking some inspiration on that, and we will build that out maybe in the next iteration once the campaign features are live. But yeah, not like in general for everything. That there we would just have to charge our customers more for the API fees and not be or would have to trade off some other features instead of this. So yeah, so those are three things that I think are really smart, really good features with their own context. So the search volume data good for B2C enterprise companies. Blog generation good, but only if you're really able to do it well, and I don't think anyone is doing it well. And finally, the daily tracking good, but for a small subset of tracking, not everything. Otherwise, you're giving up on too much other features and places you could have spent that budget essentially.
Okay. Does Chosenly has any features which work parallelly to all these features, uh, which could do the
Yeah.
job somewhat, you know?
Not so kind of right. So okay, let's go one by one. It's a very interesting question. So let's you take blog generation. We don't have a blog generation feature. right? But we have a very, very strong, and I again, I'm biased, but I think we have the best feature for what content to create. Right? We have the best version of that. Now, if you know that, you could basically just use Claude or Chat GPT or internal writers, and then with all of that, whatever your current process is, tie it there, and then generate a better content piece than whatever generator we would have built, right? So I don't believe in pure AI content, but I love AI assisting content, but not pure AI content. So that's one. The second was the search volume data. We don't really have this. And just because there's no reliable way to do it for our ICP, B2B companies who care about driving pipeline from this, I haven't found a good way to do it. If I did, I mean, we could try using like search data as proxy to do it, and we might, but yeah, I'm trying to find a better, more reliable way to do it. And I have a few ideas we might someday build, but we don't have anything similar. Finally, the weekly tracking to show impact of your work. I believe so. Okay, we might not have specific active, like if you wrote a blog, what's the impact of that one blog on results? We haven't built that yet. No one has, honestly, but we might build that. But today we already have that. Hey, if you do an act, like you've done a bunch of reach outs, right? Was there an overall like leading indicator level difference made in your visibility and stuff? We have very good features there. If you add a page, if you add some content, so the leading indicator features that we have, right? Okay, are people lying about you? If that changing is, are you getting chosen more often, less often? That stuff. So I think we have the best leading indicators. We don't have good features on like per task level features. We have larger, broader leading indicators which are better than everyone else, not task level, which again no one has. But then again, to build a good task level feature, you would need to run it more regularly. So yeah, like that's like my thoughts on it.
Yeah, got it. Okay.